I gave you my heart.
On both these teams, and a lot of smack talk is going on from both sides. Speaking of both sides, we are about to see the players that are coming from both of these teams.
Let's look at Team SMG and the lineup that they're going to be bringing over into the MPL this time round. For this matchup, it's going to be Smooth, Seiya Jin, Zayn Zempoi, Goten, Lung, as well as Rin. And these guys, time and time again, are trying to find their footing, find the areas that they need to work on the most, because right now, they need all the points that they could get.
No doubt about that. From what we saw of Orange Louvre's Team SMG's performance last week, they still need to pick it up a little bit. On the other side, however, we have Team BOSSKURR, who really picked up the pace last week. We have Perisai, Scott, Scoopos, Sakura, Kaiserjin, and Fakers.
I mean, this team, they are looking good. They are looking hot. I'm excited to see what both main lineups that they're going to be bringing. Are the subs coming in, jumping in into this picture? Are they not? Are they looking to play a different strategy? Is Chang'e going to be left out in the open? So many questions that need to be answered in this game itself.
Speaking of the Chang'e, I think something that people don't really realize or are beginning to realize at this point in the competition, although the current meta is called the hyper carry meta, yeah? I feel like the main focus of these games has started shifting from the hyper carry to the offlaners, the fighters, the mages as well, because I believe if you saw recently, we put up a graphic on the Facebook page which mentioned the highest damage per minute. And a lot of them were mages. Yeah, and that's a very big point, because we're looking here at the team of Team SMG. Farsa being one of the notable picks for that mage section, being able to have that Feather Airstrike as complete artillery fire, some great AoE to kind of force an enemy team backwards, or to kind of just control a position here. But Yi Xin as well, I mean, he was topping that list in that same post, and it's mainly because of his ultimate being able to hit multiple people, literally everybody on the enemy team, no matter where they are. Something interesting I noticed here is that they have decided not to play Goten for this game. If we noticed in the intro video earlier, Team BOSSKURR, they were talking smack about Goten, saying apparently that he could only run away. Unfortunately, it looks like he won't be proving himself in the game today, but I'm expecting that he has placed his hopes in his team to bring back honor to their team name and his name as well. I don't know, because they could switch it up. I mean, if Team SMG wins this game and wins this game or loses this game, there could be an opportunity for Goten to kind of step in and really prove himself against Team BOSSKURR. You can't just smack talk and get away with it, right? Yep. But let's look over to some of the heroes mostly played by the side of Team BOSSKURR, notably Esmeralda, who will still currently be banned, perma-banned for now. Don't worry, hopefully she'll be getting back into the meta once the next patch comes in. We can see that the total KDAs on the side of BOSSKURR right now definitely look a lot better than those of Team SMG, which is understandable. Right now, Team SMG, it looks like they still have room to grow and prove themselves in the competitions. We can see here the most notable KDAs, I think, would be Fakers on the Roger as well as Scoopos on the Farsa. These two have carried the team. They've been the playmakers. They have been the people to watch on the side of Team BOSSKURR throughout the competition. They really stepped it up last week. Will we continue to see that kind of gameplay today? Yeah, hopefully it wasn't a one-time thing, because they really pulled their weight in that previous game. And now I think it's about consistency of the points, because again, even though you are currently at 8th position, you really want to be able to start getting those points to have a much better position later on once the playoffs go in. And ideally, you want to get into that upper bracket. Or just completely dying in lane. Because the current meta right now really does focus on the mages and the fighters in the off lane. Because the hyper carry meta, although it's called that, depends a lot on the carry getting farmed. And the carry obviously can't be farmed from the very beginning of the game itself. Speaking of which, let's have a little look at the draft between these two teams. This is going to be the first game of the best of 3 between Team SMG on the blue side and Team BOSSKURR on the red side. All right, now let's get this draft on its way. Popo Okupa and Chang'e from Team SMG has banned it out for Team BOSSKURR, and in response, Team BOSSKURR is going to be getting rid of the Ling as well as the Selena here. A lot of very notable picks and a lot of notoriety
heroes on that ban list.
Right now we're seeing Selena, the ban of Selena from Team BOSSKURR right now. I believe, if I'm not wrong, Selena has one of the highest ban rates in the entire competition right now. We really haven't been able to see much of her in the competition, and if I'm not wrong, considering her low pick rate, she actually has the highest win rate out of all the heroes in MPL right now, which kind of explains why Team BOSSKURR is trying to get rid of her. On Team SMG side, I do like the Chang'e ban. That is a respect ban because we have seen Scoopos play Chang'e to a very successful degree in previous games.
All right, coming into the final bans is Uranus as well as the Yuzong this time round. Team SMG have Khalid wide open. All the tanks, all the S tier tanks are still there. No Selena, unfortunately. Starting off with a Farsa would be pretty scary, but right now they're just hovering off with Nana. Ooh, starting off with Farsa here. Oh, I don't personally like it, but you know, some teams do like showing their cards early on to kind of tell your opponents, hey, you got to be careful.
We are aware that Farsa right now is one of the strongest mages and early game supports that the game has to offer due to the sheer amount of damage that she can output with the Feathered Airstrike. But because she has to be standing still to cast it, it makes her very easy to be targeted for pretty much any skill in the game. And so I feel like picking Farsa first is quite a dangerous move from the side of Team SMG.
I would have expected them to pick Farsa within the second rotation, however, they just couldn't let it go over to Team BOSSKURR. Team BOSSKURR responds with the Kufra as well as the Thamos here. I absolutely love both. Thamos is great at jumping into the backline if he finds the right angles. Kufra, a super strong initiator. Now, Team SMG need to figure out a way to keep these guys back off of Farsa and off of their main hyper carries.
We are seeing them hover over the Cho right here, which would be a very, very good pickup. Good at engage, good at disengage, able to keep these people off of their very important Farsa. And we might see a Hilda pickup as well, which will cement the early game aggression from Team SMG.
Yeah, but this also means that Cho will be going into the side lane rather than being a tank support for the hyper carry as the 1-3-1 composition might need of him. I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a flex pick. They go for the Cho, they go for maybe one of their hyper carries that they're comfortable with, but it looks like they want to get their standard core lineup first and look to counterpick for their hyper carries. Team BOSSKURR responds with a Sicilian.
Okay, so right now both teams are still missing out on their hyper carries. Yi Sun-shin and Roger are both in the pool. I'm expecting at the very least one of them to be banned out in this second phase. Team BOSSKURR actually going to be banning out the Claude here.
I think there's no reason not to ban it out. A lot of people can pick up Claude, especially from previous seasons. Claude has been good for a very, very long time and is a comfort pick for a lot of these teams. Now, Natalia is getting banned out. SMG have done their homework.
That's for sure. For those of you who might not know, Team BOSSKURR scored a very decisive victory against Geek Fam in the third week with a surprise Natalia pick, actually going for a double assassin comp in game 1 with the Ling and the Natalia being played by, who was it? Perisai, I believe? Yes, and it was absolutely devastating. Team SMG, they've done their homework. They don't want to deal with it. That is going to be a respect ban from them.
Yeah, but remember, Team BOSSKURR is on red side. So after this ban, once all the bans are done, they will have first pick for the second phase. And they're looking to pick up something for themselves. And looking at their composition, they've got their mage, they've got their tank. Now they're looking to get some of the stronger offlaners here. Khalid is still wide open, and I think Team BOSSKURR probably aren't going to ban it out. They get rid of the Lancelot instead.
It does look like Team BOSSKURR right now. They're banning out the hyper carries with a lot of mobility. You can see Claude, which is able to easily engage and disengage with the battle mirror image. Lancelot, who is just a dash machine in the first place. I think Team BOSSKURR, they don't want to allow Team SMG to run around the map very freely. They want to allow the Kufra to catch people out and not escape afterwards. And on top of that, with the Sicilian, Team BOSSKURR, they have their bases covered.
They really do. Sicilian goes well against the Farsa matchup. I mean, the Sanguine Claws alone can be the perfect setup for the rest of the team to kind of go in really, really hard. But Team SMG, they have to consider here, there's still a lot of strong offlaners here as well. But they decide to actually get rid of the Yi Sun-shin. So Roger still on the table. Does Team BOSSKURR want to lock in the Roger now and sacrifice some of that, you know, side lane pressure?
Roger could be a little bit risky. He's a solid pick, obviously, an S-tier marksman with a lot of damage potential, but he does take a little while to ramp them up. ramp that damage up. And right now with Team SMG's comp, having Hilda, having Farsa, having Cho, it could be a little bit difficult for a Roger to farm.
They're hovering over Freya right now, and they lock in the
Oh.
Freya. It looks like the people are straying away, especially for Team BOSSKURR. It looks like they are straying away from the Khalid, which a lot of teams were fighting for very early on into the league, and I think people have kind of picked up and learned. Team SMG on the other side. Now, this is going to be an interesting matchup because Cho into Freya, not too bad. Khalid into Freya, though, that's where you're going to put a couple of questions. Yes, he's going to win in the early game, but Freya really ramps up quickly into the mid game the moment she gets her first item.
Yeah, I am going to be looking forward to this. Team BOSSKURR, one of the things that made them really stand out in last week's game, other than the fact that it was their first victory in a while, was the fact that they really used a lot of non-meta picks. Once again, they're going to be picking up the Freya here, and we're just going to have to see exactly how Team SMG responds to this unfamiliar appearance. They will, however, be locking in the carry and the Jawhead.
The Jawhead is actually a really good pick because unlike, you know, Uranus and Baxia, who act as brick walls, sorry, Balmond in this case, act as brick walls and kind of just stalls out the offlane until they can't really do much into the game, Jawhead kind of does the opposite where it has some really good matchups, it has some really bad matchups, but even at its worst matchups, they can set up for dives. Finally coming in with the Angela pick coming in from Team BOSSKURR, this is going to be huge and a lot of pressure is going to be on them to perform today.
This is going to be a very, very entertaining game. Personally, I myself, I'm gonna say this, I'm a fighter main. I like playing fighters. And when I play fighters, I hugely enjoy having an Angela on my team. I think what BOSSKURR is trying to do here is that this Angela is going to jump into the Freya every chance it gets. And all of a sudden, this Valkyrie, who usually does the chance of success, Parasite tries to eject someone into their tower, won't make it though.
And now Lung, he's already responding to put some harass damage. Terizla is coming in. They need to back out of this because Terizla can easily turn this around. Scott flickers over the wall. He's looking good, but now Kaiser going in for some big damage.
Kaiser doing a lot of damage with Execution Strike right there, but he's caught, he's been frozen, he has the flicker to get away, but Long is sticking on top of him. This Tamas doesn't want the Terizla to get away, will miss the Molten Size. Kaiser just barely gets away with his life.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That would have been first blood right there, but a lot of battle spells have been expanded in the process. Nobody really gains much off of this. Everybody took some good damage.
Parasite playing very carefully here, and he will throw Smooth back into the tower. What was he doing? He was playing a little bit too aggressively. Cho is strong in the early game, but so is Jawhead, and he just overextended.
Yeah, and that's just kind of the beauty of Jawhead. Even if it's worse matchups, he has counterplay. That ejector is such a versatile way, is such a versatile tool to actually punish your opponent. Seijin, he comes out. Ling is coming in quick. Fakes is right there.
He doesn't realize.
Easily get right on top of Seijin, who walks right out into the open. The Steel Tempest comes down, and this is going to be an easy kill. And Smooth, he just got back into lane. He didn't want none of this.
That was beautifully done by the side of Team BOSSKURR. They knew that the Hilda was coming up. They set up the bait. Perfect match going in. Scott, he still wants more. They catch the Rin with the stun. Fakus has jumped on top of him and will be able to get yet another kill, this time on Rin. And Team BOSSKURR, that's going to be a very, very strong start for them.
Team BOSSKURR starting off real strong, but the kills all going, mostly going into Fakes. One into Parasite and one into Scott. So Parasite is going to have quite the advantage. Level 4 to Smooth's level 3, and he's already died twice and lost so much EXP. Ugh, it's going to be rough.
Looks like we have a lot of small skirmishes happening across the map. Team BOSSKURR is trying to apply their pressure. We saw earlier as well, Kaiser on the Terizla was actually cutting the lane at the bottom side, trying to put as much pressure as he could, but he was eventually chased away. Right now, Smooth, he's attacking the tier 1 tower in the top lane, but it looks like Parasite won't be here to defend it. That's going to be the first tower of the game.
First tower so quickly done here. Look at the rotations coming in from Team BOSSKURR. They are trying to hover around and make sure they are on the timers. Team SMG have adapted this way. They know that they are there. They know that they want to take this objective, but they're not going to hard contest it. They don't mind giving away a turtle, considering the amount of pressure they put on top. Barisai is now up there, and they quickly rotate down to contest.
Team SMG has always been a team that's very objective focused and they know exactly what they want. Right now though, they want this turtle. They're trying to go in for the fight Saiyajin. He wants to try and engage, but it is a little bit difficult. Perfect match, Scott flickers, catches one with the fatal links, and that's going to be a big team fight. Tempest of Blades drops on many members of Team SMG, and right now Zaim Senpai is getting caught in the back line. We will lose Hilda, we'll lose Saiyajin, and well, that's going to be quite a good fight for Team BOSSKURR, but it's not quite over yet. Long, he's jumping onto Perisai. Perisai will eject him awake. A lot of low health heroes on both sides here, but Team BOSSKURR is going to come out on top of that fight.
Yeah, I mean, they are coming up pretty hard as well. 3 kills to none coming, 3 kills to nothing, and Team BOSSKURR don't even lose a single person. Mid is about to be broken here as Scupos should have no issues pushing this in, but oh my goodness, what a game this has been so far.
Oh, it's just a very cheeky stab into the tower right there. We'll give the mid tier 1 tower to Team BOSSKURR. And right now, I think Team SMG is realizing the threat that they're facing. The perfect match engage, along with the mobility of Fakers, jumps in with the Tempest of Blades. They might have wanted to counteract it with the Cold Destruction, but what can you do when you have a Ling all up in your face?
There's nothing much you can really do about it, honestly speaking. I mean, especially when you've been hit by the penalty zone as well as the perfect match on top of the fatal links. It's like there's no real counterplay to it. You just have to flicker out in time. You can't follow up, get hit by the follow-up chain CC.
I think what Team SMG needs to do right now is that they need to leverage their split push potential. They have a lot of heroes who are quite strong on their own. Try to split out the map, because if you try and take a team fight against Team BOSSKURR, it's gonna be trouble. Fatal Links catches all of them into the back line. The blue buff will, however, still go to Team SMG.
Yep, I mean, they're trying to contain the amount of damage that they're taking. I mean, Team SMG, I mean, they've lost so much already. They're only 1 tower down in comparison to Team BOSSKURR, who are just slightly ahead in this game. But I don't feel like Team SMG, they can make any proactive plays on the map so far.
Yes, undoubtedly right now Team SMG has been pushed into a corner, and it is not a very large corner. Team BOSSKURR is currently sitting on a 4K net worth lead and 7 kills to Team SMG 0. They're going to need to make something happen if they want to win this game and close out this best of 3, or be forced into a third game where all is on the line.
But I mean, looking at the score right now, 4K difference, 7-0. I feel like Team BOSSKURR are in prime position. They've dominated the early game, and as we transition in through the mid game here, Team BOSSKURR need to be proactive. They need to be continuously looking for opportunities, because they are allowing Team SMG to get this good push onto that top side, and they might lose this tier 2 because of that objective. This
is a strength of Team SMG, is that although they might be on the back foot, they know how to take objectives. They have a very objective-based mindset. Move here, he's in trouble, he's trying to get away, but there's no way you're getting away from the movement speed of perfect match. 3 people will kill this Cho in the top lane.
And I think he probably could have used his abilities a little bit earlier, but you know, that's just my personal preference. Scott, he sees Saiyajin right now, and Scupos, he's being very careful. He doesn't want to walk too far. He doesn't want to suddenly get hit by that cold destruction coming in from Aurora. And right now, Zaim Senpai not having the best of games. He doesn't have that extra range that Farsa usually gives him. He needs to get in closer to make sure he lands the abilities.
While I do always appreciate picking up new heroes into the competition, because you never know what kind of interesting twists or spices they might add to a game, there are times when certain heroes are not picked up for a reason. Aurora, I see what Team SMG were trying to go for with this, but the problem with Aurora is that she has a single combo. She has good spell damage, but she does not have any mobility at all. Yeah, she really doesn't. She can't reposition like Farsa. She can't get out of the way. But she's got some great abilities. Saiyajin, it's going to be tough. Perisai gets kicked back into the team, and the fight goes on. And they're going to be able to find Jihad. Fatal Links catches 2 members of Team SMG, and that'll give the space for Team BOSSKURR to try and take out some other people. But Perisai was actually going to go down. Scott will go down as well. He has immortality, but I doubt he will be able to get out of this. He will get picked off by Rin there, and the penalty zone will drop, but it will will only find one person, Kaiser. He's now in trouble. There's 4 members of Team SMG jumping on top of this Rizla, and no matter how tanky it is, he will still get taken down, but that's a lot of damage from the Sanguine Claws into the Bat Impact. Tempest of Blades drops down, but Scoopos and Fakers will have to back out here because the rest of their team has been eliminated.
Oh boy, that was a rough fight coming in. I mean, it could easily turn in Team BOSSKURR's favor, and it was so close in doing so, but they couldn't finish off the right targets. And now Team BOSSKURR, with 1 member down, need to contest this Lord. Ling gets kicked in the back. Smooth has caught him in position. Can they finish him off? No! The Fatal Lynx has come on through with the Blade. Tempest taking Smooth out. You don't disrespect Ling like that. It's so far so good. They're trading 2 for 2, but Team SMG have got the upper hand. They continue to push on forward, and it's going to be 3 for 1 in trade.
Team SMG is starting to come back into this game in great force, and they get the freeze on Kaiser as well. Penalty zone will drop down on Long, which is perfect. The last tower shot will take out the Tamas, but Kaiser, he's now caught as well. Rin not doing much damage, but it's going to be enough. He will actually find the Hilda in return, however.
Oh, what a fight that was. I mean, 4 for 3 there. Looking pretty good for the Team SMG side to even up this score, but Rin getting a bit greedy. He wants that blue buff, but you can't put yourself in that much danger.
You will actually get it, which is actually a little bit of a win for SMG, and now they're gonna try and continue pushing. Scott is here to try and deal with it, but there's not much a tank can do against a Roger who's currently sitting at 6k, almost 7k net worth.
I think he was playing a little bit more cautiously just in case Atlas was looking to set up for somebody else hiding in the brush. I mean, Team SMG really didn't reveal themselves on the map at that point in time, but at the very, Team BOSSKURR didn't show themselves at that time. But now Team SMG, they've evened up this score, 1k differential.